Hey everyone, welcome back to Living with the K's. This week, we're discussing being all in. It's one of the values that really matters to us, and we're gonna just dive in right now.
What does it even mean to be all in?
I'd say there's different definitions for everyone. For me, being all in means, we're never gonna give up on our relationship. It also means the D word never appears. That's just not even a part of our vocabulary.
Oh, the D word. What's the D word for people who don't know what the D word is?
Divorce. Yeah, not an option. And we believe that when you're all in, you're doing things to always get ahead of problems so that you never have to get to a point where you're questioning things like the D word.
Yeah, I feel like for me, all in is about commitment. And I think if you're committed, and that's the core of it, that you'll figure out whatever it is you need to figure out to move forward, whether it's a problem, an issue, something comes up, it's your responsibility to kind of move forward and move past that. I think the question that folks might struggle with is, how do I know if I want to be committed to this person, or am I ready to commit as an individual?
Yeah.
How did you know you were ready to commit?
Marriage to me was all in commitment. And I think for us, it was really figuring out, do I want to spend every day with this person? I think it's choosing you every day, waking up and saying, I choose this person, and that's how I know I'm committed. I think that's when things get a little bit blurry, when you're like,
Do you feel like that happened before you met me, or was it because you met me, you were like, okay, I'm committed to you? Or was it, I can be a committed person before? I guess which order came first?
I think I'm typically a person who commits to anything that I do, but I feel like it needed to be the right person to have that true commitment. So I wouldn't say I would have been all in had it not been for you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I saw it differently, and I may have even said this early in our relationship, that I'm a person who either commits or doesn't. And when I commit, I go all in. I almost don't care what my partner is gonna do, because I have my own values, I have my own way of operating, and that was what was most important. And so I think from my standpoint, you become someone who you can trust yourself, right? Like, you're someone who honors your own commitments to yourself first. Then when that right person comes and, everything else feels good, check out our prior episode on how then it makes it easier to also put those two things together. But I love what you said about your choosing. And I came to that realization too, that we choose to love that person. And there's going to be moments in your relationship where they don't like you. I'm not going to say I don't like them, but they don't like you. But that doesn't mean that they don't love you.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the commitment is all about.
Yeah, I agree.
And why is commitment so important?
Well, I think everyone's relationship is different, and that may not be really important to others, but for us...
Wow, I disagree. I don't think you can have a really good relationship
without the commitment.
Without the commitment.
No, I'm speaking from our perspective.
Yeah. Well, so let's be bold. I don't know. So for me, the importance of it is like the security or the comfort of knowing that, hey, your partner has your back. Your partner isn't like going out there and, frolicking or out there dancing and...
Right, but that's our relationship.
That's true. You can have an open relationship.
Yeah, people can.
But that's not what we're talking about when we talk about empowered couples.
No, definitely agree with that.
Okay, yeah, I feel like you get confidence, you have a sense of security that comes with it. I think it's easier to focus on what you need to do together. I also think one of the challenges that could arise from this feeling of both being committed is taking it for granted, but that is not what we're saying when we say all in and being committed. We actually think it's the opposite, right? It's being proactive and doing more.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we decided to do early on was get a marriage therapist, because we knew we wanted to have this commitment for the rest of our lives. So anytime there wasn't even actually anything happening, we were kind of like, let's just get this, to be proactive and figure out ways to come up with solutions when we knew something was happening eventually.
I would say like it was around the time too that we were talking about our own mental health, and same thing, we were just getting proactive, and it was something we believed in, right? You want to be better, you want to be a whole person, you want to take care of your entire being, and taking care of your mind was important. And for us, we said we're all in, and this was one step that we could take. But I think it's also important not to say like commitment means you need a marriage therapist.
Yeah. No, I think that's just a tool.
Exactly. And I think that is back to like what we were saying before, that when you're committed, you're going to find all of these different tools out there. And I'm sure you can ask people like what helped them build successful relationships and find the tools that work for you. What other tools do we use? Maybe we just give folks some ideas.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of rituals, I think, that are helpful for us. So something that we do is we'll put toothpaste on each other's toothbrushes every night, and as long as that happens, you know, like everything's good. But
and in the mornings too.
Yeah, every night, every morning. But if you're missing toothpaste on your toothbrush, that typically means you did something wrong, or there needs to be a conversation, or someone really just forgot, which happens too.
Less likely, but it does. But for us, it was thinking through what all those different rituals were. We have a date night every single week, and again, this is just another tool, right? I know people swear by date nights. They work for us, but we've seen really successful couples who haven't had a weekly date night.
We love our date nights.
We do love
it. Doesn't have to be weekly, but it definitely should be happening.
Yeah. We have like a texting thing that we do every week.
Our Tuesday tings.
Our appreciation. I mean, we take the time to have meals together whenever we can. And I think we're committed to always working through our problems. I know we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Having conversations, check-ins on a regular, just to see how we're doing. Are we both good?
And I think we're always like actively looking for ways to make our relationship better and stronger, you know, whether that is joining a couples group, you know, reading a book together and sharing the insight or the knowledge from that. You know, when you're committed to something and you want to make it better, you would take those steps, right?
Yeah, and then you're in environments that also encourage you to be stronger together as well. I think something that was different as soon as we moved here is we looked for a lot of couple friends, which was new, because in the past, like, we were all single and had like all single friends, and I feel like the mentality is very different when you're hanging out with other couples because you're experiencing the same things.
But that was just something we did because we were committed to our relationship.
Yeah.
So again, there's no one way to do it, but we both think it's really important that you're in a committed relationship, that you know your partner's committed. You're not guessing. I think that is sometimes one of the issues. We assume that our partner is committed without having a conversation about commitment. Are they someone who has committed to themselves and been successful and keeping the commitments to themselves or not? Because I feel like that's also important.
Yeah, and if we're being real, guys don't like to have that commitment conversation, especially early on. It seems like they avoid it for as long as they can.
I'm not in the generalization bucket, but maybe when it's not the right time, they're not.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on the individual, but super important to have it. And if the person isn't committed, like, that's important to know too.
Yeah.
I think it's a really like intricate part of it. So we've shared some of our lessons behind like things we've learned from commitment. You know, again, like not every single day is perfect. Yeah. You have to have those conversations. You commit. And so it means you're going to work through anything and everything. And it means you're going to look for resources. You're going to continue to find ways to grow in the process of being committed. And you're going to figure everything out. So I think that has been something that we've done time and time again, and think it's a really important part of building an empowered like couple and having an empowered relationship. So do we want to leave them with some questions?
Yeah, I think it'd be good. So just some things to reflect on. You can bring this to your significant other or whatever your situation is at the moment. Are we all in? That's a question that's important. Get in front of it, figure it out, because you don't want to waste your time.
What if they say yes?
What do you mean, what if they say yes?
Well, if I'm like, yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So let's figure this out.
Okay, well, I would say let's take it a step further and say, if I'm all in, well, what does that really look like to each of us?
I agree.
Because it's one thing to say, like, I'm all in, but I feel like in a relationship, talk is cheap, you know? The actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that we're not just saying that, but we're like walking the walk.
Yeah.
You know, like we dedicate time every single week to check in our relationship. Yeah. So I think you could say we're all in, but do you have date nights? Do you check in with a therapist? Yeah. Do you have rituals? Are you continuously learning together? Like, watching this video right now, whether you're doing it alone or together separately and then talking about it, like that shows a commitment to your relationship. So are you spending the time educating yourself or looking for that? Because I think if you say, yeah, we're all in, but we don't do any of these things,
yeah, maybe you're not really
you're not really all in. And if you're not all in, then I think the follow-up question is then, you know, what is it that we need to address to get there?
Right.
Because that's at the end of the day what you want to know. And I think it's also important for those who are watching to just know that, you know, your relationship is going to evolve.
Yeah.
We grow, you know, the only constant in life is change. As you grow and you evolve and you change, your relationship is going to grow, evolve, and change. And so this isn't a question that you just ask once, you know, and then you like sweep it under the rug and you don't revisit it again. But it's something that you could ask at any point while you're together. And, you know, maybe it's a reaffirmation, you know, just reminding ourselves like, hey, are we still all in? And again, if not, like, what do we need to address to get there? And if we are, great. Like, what does that continue to look like for us? How do we continue to evolve and improve our relationship?
Well said, babe. I like that.
Well, just wanted to give folks something to walk away with, and also not say like, oh, well, I've been married for 20 years. Of course I'm all in.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Talk about what that means. Anything else for our viewers?
Yeah, I think that's good. You said it all well.
All right, y'all. Stay tuned for another episode.
Yeah. See you next time on Living with the K's.